Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you for being here this morning. Thank you for being here this morning.
Let's go, let's go. Ow, let's start this show. King Roman News gonna come right through. Gonna give you that news just like you know he can do. Hot topics in your face, baby. King Roman knows his place, baby. King Roman News.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning.
6:30 a.m. Eastern time, baby. He's gonna come right on time with the news just for you. Celebrity news, politics, and local news just for you. King Roman News. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Monday, Wednesday, Let's go, let's go. Hey, let's start this show. King Roman News, coming just for you. King Roman News, coming just for you. 6:30 a.m. Eastern Time, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. King Roman News, King Roman News. Let's go, let's go. Hey, let's start this show. Let's go, let's go. Oh, let's start this show.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Shout out to the crew. Shout out to the crew. Thank y'all for coming back for another show. And yes, I am talking about Shanquella Robinson again. Say her name, Shanquella Robinson again. When I get fascinated and stuck on a topic, I'm just into it. I'm all in. So right now I'm all in and we're gonna dive into this, but we're gonna look at the other half of this. Everyone's talking about the FBI is coming, they're about to get them. Well, I hate to be the one to be the bearer of slow news, but I'm gonna put my people on game to what's happening. So we're gonna talk about the other side of this once the FBI is involved. Once this case is getting more weight. But shout out to the motherfucking crew. I see y'all. I see y'all coming through. I see y'all in all the chats talking like y'all like this is everything. And I'm shout out to y'all because it's y'all that's keeping me wanting to do stuff like this. Seeing y'all dedication, seeing you all find stuff, at tweet me and stuff, and share stuff to me and tag me and stuff on YouTube. Thank you so much, and shout out to all the content creators who are talking about this story and really bringing her name to the forefront. Shout out to them, and thank you to the new subscribers to the channel. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome to the crew. Welcome to where we talk about any and everything, all things real, real life, real subjects, real matters. And we peel back the layer, you know. So please hit that like button. Please consider joining the membership. If you have not hit that like button, please do. And if you want to show me some love, you can always do so by sending me a cash app, $ Roman L Jackson. Everything goes to support the show and the channel. Um, let's get into some things. Hold on, because my dog is trying to like Eli. Sit down. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. King Roman News gonna come right through. Hey, he's going to give you the news just the way he knows how to do. What up, Naries? Good morning to you. We can't let this case die. And this new information on another video of the winner girl putting Shanquella in a headlock and slamming her on her head, causing a life-ending accident. Baby, we're gonna get into it. Who the fuck she thinks she is? And go back to look at her picture, and I just got like y'all all thought y'all were Yo, this had to be a get together kind of thing. Like y'all jumped on this girl. So we're gonna get into it. They all need to be locked up. And unfortunately, we're gonna talk about it. What up, Zaire? Good morning. Good morning. M. Renee, good morning. Good morning. Thank you for being here. Coco, good morning. I saw you last night, Coco, in Gerald's the Charlotte, North Carolina, Charlotte beat. I saw you in his chat yesterday as he was talking to the father, and we're gonna talk about a little bit of that. So shout out to you. I see that. I definitely see it. Good morning, Karen. Great day to you as well. Okay, I was back here doing a little twerk too. Ox City 805 Queen, good morning. Good morning, good morning. Ivy Pearl, oh wait, good morning. Okay, tuning in while working. Yes, and I hope you have a great work day too. And I hope people are kicking off their Thanksgiving weekends um in a good spirit as well. Surely do. Good morning, November Scorpio. My brother's a Scorpio. Shout out to y'all Scorpios. Good morning. And then there was X. Good morning. Good morning, Leslie. Good morning. Good morning, Coco. Yes, I saw you. Good morning, Elise. I hope you have an amazing Friday and weekend. Be safe. Very busy, but I will catch a replay. Thank you. Thank you for dropping down. I appreciate that too. Hey, Cash App and bullshit. Good morning. Hey, Esther. Good morning to you. Good morning. What up, Rodney? Good morning, Rodney. What's up, Rodney? Yes, I heard she was also recording too, baby. They all was doing a little. Now we see what's happening. See, the footage is coming out because people are telling on each other. Now it's a well, you ain't gonna prove it was me. Well, you ain't gonna. We got some footage coming. I am so here for peace and blessings. A whole man fighting a helpless woman. Y'all still think that woman's a transgender? That is a whole female. That is not a transgender. I've been looking forward to this. Okay, good morning, teacher Shawan. Good morning. So I've just been so like deeply diving into this story. And when I say deeply diving, I've taken a look at similar cases like this where a US citizen has committed a crime in Mexico against another US citizen and came back to the States. I took a look at that and saw that resolve. We're going to talk about that. I've also taken a look at what it takes to extradite someone from the United States to face charges in Mexico. And I'm just going to give you a little spoiler. It takes anywhere up to 2 years. There's not one case that I've saw where there was an immediate extradition of some charges brought to them. First, you got to get the charges brought to you. But the charges brought to you and a person was immediately extradited. So out of respect for just knowing the facts and wanting to speak truth to what I see going on, I have to keep it real. And I'm going to talk to you all about how this other side is going to look and play out. Now, this doesn't mean there's no justice to be, sought after. There are definitely charges to be brought. But unfortunately, in this case, the FBI can only serve as the investigative party. They can't bring any charges against someone unless it's proven that it was premeditated during their investigation and that it was planned on American soil. So we're going to break all of that down. But before I get to that, I wanted to fill in some gaps because I talked about the story yesterday and I think we did a pretty good job covering from the little bit of stuff that we knew to getting us to where we were. But there were some holes in the story. So I wanted to cover some of those holes that I saw in the story. And I was like, wow, as I kept seeing more stuff. So I think the first biggest thing was Winter. So Winter Donovan allegedly is the other individual who was attacking Shanquella during this time. Now they're saying that she had her arms around her neck and she was slamming her to the ground. Now, if this is true, this would explain why when we saw the video of Shanquella being attacked by D. Janae, her already being so down, lethargic, no energy. She was already done. Because if there was a fight before this of her and someone else, it makes sense. Now, it's funny that we only got that video. So apparently, there's this video that is supposed to be coming out. Now, who's going to get that video? How much more damaging it is, if it was the next half or not, will be telling. I think anybody who might have that video in that circle of friends, it does it doesn't help you. It only hurts you the longer you hold on to that stuff. I truly believe that all of the girls were attacking her, not just the one Dejanay, not just Winter, but also Elise. I think she was also involved as well. And I think what's happening is that they all had footage of each other. Some stuff got out to the parents, some stuff was leaked. Then you have Nazir out here having conversations trying to clear his name. So everyone's trying to clear themselves because a part of the FBI's process is to investigate on American soil of the American facts, going to get the phone records, going to subpoena text messages, and this stuff will come out. So it's better for you to either do it now or you just want to wait the ride. So we do know that there was another person attacking her. It wasn't just Dejanay. And I said that because it was mighty funny how Khalil brought Dejanay and Elise, the two women we know for a fact now, not Elise, Winter, attacked this woman. Brought these two women to the house to answer questions on whether this woman was attacked or not. And they're reassuring, no, it was alcohol poisoning. Okay, you lying bitches. So that was the first thing we had to clear up because I definitely said that I thought that it was just her being attacked by this one woman, but it was not just her. It was multiple. It was multiple, and I'm telling you now, based on we're going to listen to the father's interview, what he saw when he first saw this woman, his daughter, after she was received by the states, bruises all over her face, all kind of bruises, and a broken neck and spinal cord. There was a lot of people fighting this girl. So that was the first thing I wanted to clear up. The second thing I wanted to clear up is she did go to Connecticut. Apparently she does have family in Connecticut. So I don't know if they're helping her, I don't know if they're holding her there or what's going on, but whomever is there, they dox your family, and that information is all over Twitter. She has somebody, it's in a Connecticut, it's an address in Connecticut. I don't know if it's her auntie or if it's a woman, it's an older woman. They doxed the woman. The woman is about 56 years old. So I don't know if the woman thinks she's doing you justice by holding you in Connecticut or what's going on, but I don't think that's a safe haven for you as well. So she's fled there. It doesn't appear like anyone else has fled that we don't know to this point, but I scoured and it seems like everyone else is still in place, but they just don't have any social media presence except for Nazir, who goes on his story every once in a while to say something. Now they've been creating fake pages under Dejanay's name, and that person put up their Cash App saying, if you want to interview me, the highest bidder. So they was receiving Cash Apps, and then they shut their page down, and then they created another one and did the same thing. So there are a lot of people creating fake accounts trying to secure the bag. So y'all got to be careful for that too. So we do know that she's in Connecticut right now in hiding. Um, Another thing that I thought was interesting was this: Dejanay friends have been getting death threats. So these are the friends that live around her. These aren't people who came on the trip. These are her homegirls in her community that live in Charlotte. Well, her friends have been getting death threats. And so there have been a police presence outside of their homes circling. And the police said that the threats were made to this person, but no arrests were made. Well, like I said in my other video, street justice has a way of creeping its little head up in there. So whether Dejanay is going to get it, your friends, your family, whoever's holding you, somebody's going to feel the burden of this. So do I feel bad? I can't tell you, I can't deny or confirm that statement or not. I can't tell you yes or no. But we do know that they are looking, either their family or someone is out there. It would have been me. What up, chat? What's going on? Yes, I heard she was also recording too. Peace and blessings. A whole man fighting. I've been looking forward. Hello, Ivy Pearl. No, it's not. Good morning, pretty saucy Leo. Good morning. Good morning. No, that's a real woman. Yes, a real woman. Morning, Tracy. Right. Slim Body Benz. Journey. The FBI needs to investigate those charges placed on Shanquella's credit card. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Good morning, Kings Mina. Good morning. Good morning. I found it crazy. Gerald said a person close to Dejanay's mom sent out Winter's video to take the heat off of her. I told you that's what they're doing. That's what's happening. They're doing all of this. And it always happens like that. That's how the police is able to separate people and interrogate them. And then you get one story because they start tearing on each other. And that's simply what's going on here. Wow. You couldn't have came to my house, baby. I'm telling you. Gerald said it's her mom. It could be. Yes, get those likes up. Thank you, November Scorpio. People need to be smart. Damn, it's a lot of fake accounts on IG, so it's hard to tell. Karen Spencer, I heard someone charge 10,000. I'm returning. I'm thinking for return tickets. That's crazy. See, and that's something else that the FBI could assist with, procuring those records. When I tell y'all about the Mexican authorities, y'all gonna really understand why this is going the way it's going. They don't have it the way we got it. They don't have forensics the way we got it. They literally will stack dead bodies up outside of the crime scene and do all of their forensics right there because some of the jurisdictions don't have the technology and the labs to do this kind of stuff. That's why they don't mind, and we'll talk about it. They don't mind extraditing folk, U.S. citizens, back to U.S. to serve charges. But baby, when it goes to extraditing Mexican officials back to Mexico, we have a whole nother thing on our hands. So, this is looking like it's going to take a long time. It's going to take a long time. But I want you all to get into. So after we figured out Winter's involvement, Dejanay's is gone. She's fled the scene. Clearly, she's fled the scene. Police presence are now outside the friend's house. Charges are being placed on, were allegedly placed on Shanquella's credit card. Then you have the father. So the father did an interview last night. Shout out to the North Carolina Charlotte Beat on his YouTube channel. And that's where I got a lot of the pictures and my firsthand information from him because remember, he got a lot of stuff because he was in direct conversations with the family. So he did an interview. Now, it was a great hour interview and we got a lot of his side. But what I found to be the most telling was when he said that when he received the body, mind you, he said he paid upwards of $7,000, not $6,000. When he received the body, he said you could instantly tell. You could tell from the face. Now, in my mind, that to me, those are statements that we could use in like prosecuting someone, because that's your first time seeing your child, and you just off of not having no knowledge of crime scenes and stuff, says your daughter looked like she was attacked. Okay, we can take that. Well, what the fuck the Mexican authority said? Well, it doesn't add up. So I found his statement to be very profound because we didn't see the body. We still have yet to see it. But the fact that he said there were things like scratches. How the fuck you get alcohol poisoning and you get a scratch on you? Where is that happening at? So all of that was telling. Rest in peace to Shanquella. My condolences to the parents, both the father and the mother. I can tell in the way he was talking that he truly was feeling this pain and the way, and he wanted to clear his name because he heard a lot of people saying that he was like not in her life, was a deadbeat, not involved and stuff like that. And he spent a significant time saying that, I was in her life. I was her father. I knew her friends. I knew, he didn't know Khalil, but he knew of her friends and stuff like that. So let's get into this portion.
She said, "I asked her, you have Shanquella Robinson over there?" She said, "Yes, sir. Like Miss Robinson, I'm sorry for your loss." And so from that point on, she said, "Mr. Robinson, I'm gonna stick with you until I get your daughter back to the States." So that lady was like an angel. So a lot of paperwork had to be done. Her mom sent the paperwork was already in the system. So I called her back. She said, "Yeah, I got the paperwork. I need a release form so I can release her body to you." And so we did that. And the bill came up and everything. So I wired the money over there, after I wired the money, they got the body. So did the paperwork, and it'll take a while for that paperwork to get done because they had to transfer everything over into English.
Yeah.
So she got back here last Thursday, around about 5 o'clock. So I'm sitting there.
Remember, 1 second. Remember, her body was brought back to the United States November 10th. This happened October 29th. So there was a significant period of time where the body had went through a period of no forensics, body degrading, I can't the word body breaking down, morphosis, whatever the case may be. So there was this period where, some scars could have been covered up, some stuff could have been hidden, all that good stuff. And he just got her body back last week, literally November 10th. It was last Thursday. That's a significant period of time. for a person to be sitting. That's why funerals are always done so instantly. And you got to know it's coming from Mexico, where there's limited resources in handling this kind of stuff. And he also made it clear that a lot of this was handling of paperwork. See, what I didn't know in doing some of this research is that Mexican authorities do all of their paperwork in their native language. It then has to be sent to the State Department to be legally transcribed, because you can't just send it to someone and then have them it has to be legally transcribed by the State Department. Then the State Department will send those documents with the body to the US American citizen. So there was a period of time where they were just waiting for this body after he paid the money for it to come. So the body comes over, and this is where we hear him having this conversation. But I wanted to make it clear that it wasn't like it happened on the 29th, then that following Monday they sent her body. No, her body was waiting, and knowing that they didn't expect foul play, nor was there any forensic tests or anything ran other than that autopsy that said that it was either accidental or homicide. Yes. Well, what the fuck does that mean? But again, we have to transcribe that so that we do understand what it was. And when the State Department transcribed it, they said, we're looking at everything. We also verify with what they're saying, certify that there was no foul play. Here's the body and here's the paperwork. And that's that process. That was that smooth process over to the States. So we're hearing this man talk about that process. You can kind of understand now why things look a little shady and funny. Let's finish.
In the funeral home, that door opened and that box came in there with her in it, man. You know, just cried like a baby.
Yeah.
Didn't even want to leave out the funeral home. My brother had to pull me out of there. You know, I'm sitting here, you know, looking at her, seeing, you know, a knot on her head, her eyes swole, she got a cut lip, and, you know, just, you know, that's a no, I know alcohol wasn't gonna do all that, you know. So that's just something not adding up right here. And so y'all gonna come back here to the States and bring her luggage back, sit right there in her mom's, in her sister's face, ate, told y'all story, how it happened, alcohol poisoning and all that. And then, you know, 2 or 3 days later, when that report came back, the lady told me, no, Mr. Brown, your daughter didn't die of no alcohol poisoning. She died, it was trauma to her neck and her spinal cord. It was broke. So that's when I just had it. I said, no. I said, baby girl, your daddy is not gonna let you die in vain. I will get justice for you.
Right.
And that is where it leads us to today. So the family reached out to their local FBI precinct, and that's where everybody sort of picked up the story. I also wanted to mention, yes, there is a GoFundMe. The goal is $100,000. It's currently at $10,792. I'll drop the link in the chat if anybody wants to support Shanquella's GoFundMe. This GoFundMe is to support this investigation that they're about to have to go through. And by all means, they absolutely need it. There's a lot of GoFundMes up for Shanquella. I mean, you know, that people have set up a lot of fake ones, but there's just one by her sister, Quilla. Quilla Long. And this is the one I'm putting in the link. This is the real one, so that nobody will be, you know, nobody gets caught up with the fake link. Here's the real link to the GoFundMe. Now, the GoFundMe is to pay for these services that they're about to undertake. Now, here's where we land with the story, and this is what I want to talk about today. Now, the father got the body, sees the body, realizes there's some fault at play. Now, mind you, in his story, in this video, he was told that her body was left in a chair, that Nazir arrived on scene, seeing her body in the chair. This weird motherfucker decides to play some soft calming music and decides to rub her forehead like everything is going to be okay. And still proceeds to leave. The maid then finds the body. That's where the maid finds the body. It wasn't a situation of the maid found the body first. No, that wasn't the case. The maid finds the body after everybody has left now. Now you have this body here. That's when we get to the reports of the police and everybody else. So yes, Nazir, you bring your ass back to the motherfucking rug, because nigga, you were just as fucking wrong. I'm out here thinking that you really was oblivious, but no, you had more wherewithal to say, hey, something's wrong here, to call and figure some shit out. So you just as fucking guilty, nigga. You an accessory too, nigga. The fuck wrong with you, bitch? Can't stand you. And you look pussy too as hell. I'm seeing you out here talking. I wish somebody would pay for his interview. Why y'all want to interview this pussy ass clown nigga? You know when the best time to interview him? Behind bars. That's the best time. Then it's worth paying him for something. Right now, I don't give a fuck what you got to say, because all the proof and everything we need is in the evidence. I'm seeing it clear as day now. It makes so much sense. Why you? Because it didn't make sense to me. You would step on scene, you would hear it's from alcohol poisoning, and then your actions were to come back. You didn't call her fame. You did. There was no. You should have went live. Something should have been done. Your actions weren't of a person that just saw their friend fucking split over. And then to know, that's why I played the father. After 2 weeks of sitting in Mexico, right? The body comes back to the States. The father can even look in the fucking bag and say, oh yeah, something ain't right. It's marks all over her face. So if the father can do that after weeks, nigga, and you were there the day of, may not at the time of the injury, but you were there of, and you couldn't really tell the same shit the father is, you lying. Get the fuck out my face. You're lying. You're lying. You're lying. You're lying. You're lying. Dog is lying. So he says all that, left in the chair. So now, the family reaches out to their Charlotte branch of the FBI. And so shout out to thank you, Karen. Decomposition. I mean, the word just slipped my mind. People have to quit assuming just because a black father and mother aren't together that dad is hands-on. Most of the times, those dads are very hands-on. Yeah, and the father was. People are angry with Gerald about the interview. I think Gerald did great despite the circumstances. I think Gerald did great, but what people don't understand about Gerald and what he was doing, he's not a YouTube live kind of guy. He does more of the reporting on his sites and his pages. But even to add to that, the man was talking to almost a lot of the players in the game behind the scenes and on phone. Like, he was doing his fucking work. So when we were seeing him do the interview, it was hard for him to ask certain questions because he had already had conversation with these folks behind the scenes. So there were some things that he could say and could talk about and could ask. And for the purposes of the interview, there were some things he couldn't say and couldn't ask. But I think he did a good job given I got my firsthand information from him, and I think we did a great job telling it. And so I think he did a wonderful job. And I think YouTube is his lane, doing more investigative stories in Charlotte the way he's doing it for this guy. I'm definitely following you. So shout out to him. Yeah, they said they left her in the chair. All of them, not just the main folks, but also Nazir. He talking about something. He played soft fucking music. That waking the day? What is that supposed to do? Where is that prescribed? You play soft music to wake somebody up. You just so damn dumb. Just dumb. Just dumb as hell. This interview was hard to watch. Well, the mother is supposed to be interviewing with Good Morning America today, like 11 a.m. sometime today, apparently, allegedly. And so that's going to be even more heart-wrenching. And I wanted to wait to do a live for that, to have that piece of the story, but it is what it is. But I want y'all to tune into that. It is sad. Yeah, it's completely sad. Exactly. You can't even trust people that invite you to events now. You can't even trust they fucking friends. They left her. That's super strange. So where is he? Nazir is here. He's in Charlotte. We're going live. Good morning, Purple Peach. What up, Purple Peach? Thank you for coming through. He needs to be arrested. Cell block interview for cigarettes. Still rising. We are on the same page. You see what I'm saying? Fuck interviewing him. What is he going to tell us? Because mostly everything he said is to defend himself. We don't want to know that. We want to know, what do you know about the relationship and dynamics of, were her and Khalil really friends? Were they friends with benefits? Did Khalil show up with this girl, and did they already have a pre-existing history? That's what we want to know. Stop giving us this fluffer shit. Where you came. Apparently, his flight times are even wrong. Like, he was there a few hours before she passed away. That's allegedly. He's disputing his flight records. They're saying that he's lying because he's not accounting for the time change. He's just going off a regular American time. And if you do that, it adds up. But if you go off the time difference, there's about a 2 hour difference of time of where were you? Were you sitting in the airport that whole time? Or did you go to the villa and you saw her for about a period of 2 hours before doing something or fleeing? And we got this whole credit card charge. What's going on there? We know people had to flee immediately. Was this associated to that? So, and that's all stuff the FBI would be able to investigate. The Mexican authorities will not even go that far. And it's sad to say that, but they won't. And we're going to talk about that. I'm going to put y'all on game on some stuff. So wait, they just checked out and left her there like they trash and dirty towels. Yes. And see, here's the other thing. Was there blood? I haven't heard anything about blood evidence. Was there like blood spatter in the room? Was there anything like that in the room? Did her mouth bleed? Because that's another telltale sign. Nazir, was she bleeding? Like, you can't just get away from this, placed on calming music and left her to ride ATVs with the others. He probably was nervous. I agree. Yeah, he did. Good morning, Brick Girl. Good morning. Good morning. Eartha G, good morning. Reminds me of KJ when they left her body in the freezer. Kanika Jenkins. Yep. They're and everyone's comparing the two. Hey, Miss Gerald. Good morning. Thank you for being a member. Shout out to all the members. Hey, Chocolate Vixen. You right on time. Right on time. Charged ATV and plane rides to her debit card. That's what it is. Gerald got him with that. He didn't even know how to give CPR. Right, arrest. The Mexican authorities don't care. Y'all best believe I check all my kids' Facebooks to make sure ain't none of these clowns my friend. The fact that they left her in the chair shows he didn't do CPR. He didn't. He wasn't trying to rescue or save that girl's life, Miss Margot. Good morning, Miss Margot. She paid for half the trip. Her card was already on file, and these moochers used the benefit. That's another charge in itself. And that's what I was saying before. I said that. Guarantee you she paid for this trip. She funded this trip. She funded this trip. Guarantee you she funded this trip. All roads lead me to believe she funded this trip. Now we half marked into this show, so let's switch over to the FBI. So now there's this spokesperson for the FBI said the agency's Charlotte division has been in contact with Shanquella Robinson's family, and you got to be very clear when you read these quotes about what the FBI is saying. You're not hearing saying the FBI saying we are issuing arrests, we are issuing a warrant, we're going to the Department of Justice for sort of some clarification. All they're saying is we're going to open an investigation. Now, if you know anything about the FBI, any of us can call the FBI today with a complaint, and only thing they can do is launch an investigation. The next level in their process is to get enough evidence to go to their attorney general in that area, the state or whomever, or if it's federal, the Department of Justice, to get a clear go ahead. Yes, you can take this to charge. You can issue charges. You can go forward. So right now, what we're seeing is the FBI saying we're going to open this up. We do think there was foul play. We're going to launch an investigation. Now, the extent of their investigation can only go so far. They can't go to another country's soil for an investigation. They can only do what they can on American soil. And we're going to break this down as to what can be done next, what we're going to see play out. Because I'm telling you, we're going to see this play out. And I got a couple examples. So the state AG, now Mexico has also said, their state attorney general has also said that we are going to open up an investigation because into femicide, into homicide, because, you know, we had our first folks on arrival at the scene, and all they did was literally for, you know, a one person autopsy. And we're going to see why you have to have two people present for an autopsy to be done to verify that it was homicide. If there's one person there and there's other people saying it was something else, 9 times out of 10 in Mexico, they're going to lean with what the other person said. And now we are starting to unbreak why they were able to flee the way they did. And so first thing I want to talk about is, and shout out to the crew. If you're new here, if this is your first time, I do want to just let you know that I do a lot of breaking shit down and explaining and defining and all that good stuff. And it sometimes is the boring part of the show. This will be the boring part of the show because I want to break down what the FBI is going to do next. So I want you to roll with me because I want you all to be out here when you're watching other videos and you're seeing these news reportings and you're dropping down on Twitter to be informed. I even have a comment from an actual Mexican citizen who's living in Mexico right now, seeing this case, telling us how they're viewing it in Mexico. So I want you all to be very, very mindful of not only what's going on in the US of how we're viewing this, but how Mexico sees this. Because to them, this is just another day, another dime a dozen, has no weight, unfortunately, for them. So we're going to break into it. So before I begin, please hit that. So now I told you I have a lot of attorney friends. So I hit up all my attorney friends and then I text some of them. And my friend, a couple of them got back to me with some information. A couple of them said, "Listen, I'll watch the show, but I'm not giving you nothing because I don't want to tell you nothing wrong and have your folks mad at me." But they all pointed me into the right direction. So the first thing is that we all have to understand what it means to be extradited internationally. Now, an international extradition is a big ass issue, not only for America, but for everywhere. You have to have one country that's the requester. So let's say Germany wants me to go back to Germany for a crime I committed in Germany, and I fled back to the United States. Germany has to request to the United States, and the United States then has to go through their legal channels to then send me over there. So there's 2 points of the process, and that's what they call the judicial process, which is the requester, and the executive process, which is the person being requested, me in the United States. 2 process. Right now, with the Mexico State Attorney General saying that they're going to open this up as an investigation, that is the judicial process, the first step of extraditing anyone from America back to Mexico to face charges for this crime. Okay. So that's what I wanted you all to understand where we are in this whole process. We're not even in executive where the United States can say, okay, yeah, we're going to go arrest these motherfuckers and get them because they don't have charges. They can only investigate, but they need charges. They need somebody, some country to say, they did this here. We want to charge them. They've been indicted. We need you to release them. So that's where we are. We are in a standstill. We know that for a fact. So no matter how much evidence we put out here, no matter how much stuff we force the FBI to do, they can only wait for the requester country to tell them, hey, we want you to bring this person over here for charges. Okay. So I wanted us to just understand that process first. It's not as easy as us saying, lock them up, arrest them all. Well, because if that was the case, you know how many drug lords in the United States would be locked up for Mexico? You know how many in Mexico, how many drug lords hiding over there will be locked up? It's not just that easy. So understanding that every country has their own treaty. So United States has a treaty with Mexico. Now, this is the funky part of this whole fucking thing. So the United States has a treaty with Mexico. It was created in May 4th of 1978. Now, I'm not going to read the whole treaty. I'm just going to tell you in a nutshell. It's typical for this treaty to be used to extradite someone from Mexico back from someone who's Mexico national from United States back to Mexico. You can always do that. You know, somebody do something because United States would love to get Mexicans, immigrants back to Mexico. So they don't mind doing that. But when it comes to Mexico requesting the United States to send one of their United States citizens back to Mexico, it don't work like that. The United States does not play that game. The United States will take upwards to 10 years before they extradite a United States citizen back to another country to face their charges for a lot of reasons. One, we have this thing where we feel like our justice system prevails others. So you tell us the charges, we'll find a federal charge and we'll hold them here. And you'll see that time and time again in a lot of these cases. So Knowing that it's hard, even under the treaty, to get someone from America back to Mexico, we don't even know the issue. Just understanding it's difficult because America does not play that game. And that's with any country except for the UK. But with any country, it's really, really difficult. So it's not out of the norm for someone from Mexico commit a crime in Mexico and be of Mexican nationality to come to the United States and for the United States to send their ass back. We can do that. But if you're American and you do it, it's harder. You're an American citizen. You have different laws and legal liberties afforded to you. Even in this case with Shanquella, those folks, they have some laws and liberties afforded to them. We haven't talked about that. We're going to talk about it today. So understanding that, this is what I wanted to share with you all. So it tells you here that it's two phases, that they take anywhere between 2 months and as many as 10 years for someone to be proven through both the judicial and executive process for the U.S. Marshals to arrest them and send their ass to the country that wants them. So we're not talking like, everyone's saying they need to be arrested now. No, I mean, we're going to keep her, we're going to say her name, but the pressure has to be on Mexico. We're going to get to that, but the pressure has to be on the Mexican officials, Mexican authorities. And Faith's Yaya said something yesterday, I'm saying the other day, when I was on the live with Lady Nika, and I couldn't understand. I understood it, but I couldn't grasp it. She was saying we need to boycott Mexico. And that is going to be the only way you put pressure on Mexican officials to do something about this issue. When they see their tourism dollars going down because of stuff like this, they'll then act the way they need to act. Unfortunately, it's not risen to that occasion for them. So now understanding that, it'll take 2 months. It'll take all this time. Now, here's the first example I wanted to show you of why things are going the way it goes. So we have this Mexican governor. He was accused of embezzlement in Mexico, right? He fled to the United States. Now, this happened back in 2019. So Mexico did their judicial process. They indicted him, and they said to the United States, we want you to send him back in 2019. What do you think the United States did? The man became a citizen of the United States because he's a governor of a Mexican, so he had the power to do, I don't know how he did it. And it took them 2 years. They just did that in June of 2022 to extradite this man back to Mexico. Do you see that? He was already a Mexican citizen, came to the United States, got Mexican, he received U.S. a passport, lived in the country, appealed and appealed and appealed. Finally, the extradition went through, and we extradited him back. That took 2 years. That was on a Mexican national turned U.S. national. Y'all get where I'm going? And that was embezzlement. So you say, well, Jerome, that's not even major. That's not that major. That's embezzlement. Okay. Well, I'll do you one further. Well, in this one, it said that the former governor's extradition was the result of the close collaboration between Mexico and the United States. Coming the same day, 6 Mexicans were sanctioned by the U.S. Treasury for alleged cartel involvement. Now, do you see what happened here? The minute we sent that man back, we had them send us 6 Mexicans who we had sanctioned for their involvement in a drug cartel on U.S. soil. So there was a swap. We didn't just decide that, okay, we're going to extradite the governor. There was an actual swap. I'm not saying there was a coincidence. Allegedly, I'm not saying there was a connection. But you notice on the same day that we extradited that governor, 6 Mexicans were also sanctioned by the U.S. Treasury. So now we start to see how the wheels work. And that's still tying back to Shanquella's case. We saw the evidence. They did the crime on Mexican soil. They fled. They're back in the United States. So now the pressure is on, we contact the FBI. They're going to launch their investigation. But the pressure is on the Mexican officials to prove that this went on so that we can even go after and arrest the folks, start the executive process. So we're there. So now you have folks, so Twitter got to talking. Twitter's like, well, what does Mexico's law say about how can we get folks charged? How can we charge Khalil? How can we charge Winter? How can we charge Dejanay? Well, according to Mexico's penal code, it says that a deceased person shall only be deemed a homicide if two experts perform an autopsy and find evidence of a fatal injury. This is why they were probably able to leave. Now, remember, I told you that if one person is there, one medical examiner is there, which is what they call everybody. If the ambulance show up, they consider that a medical examiner in Mexico. Anybody of that authority, they consider the person on the scene arriving medical authority. So the one person that showed up initially was the one person that, for the purposes of Mexico's law, deemed there no foul at play. Had there been two folks, then you got two statements, two people that can come back. So you both saw scars. So you both thought this was alcohol poisoning. Well, I don't. They had one person. So now we're understanding why charges weren't immediately filed. So then the second thing was, but according to their Article 308 of Mexico's Federal Penal Code for fighting, if you commit homicide during a fight, you'll face up to 12 years in prison. So that's the charge. The charge is homicide during a fight on Mexican soil, which equates to 12 years in prison. So now we have the actual charge, but they have to prove it. They have to prove there was a fight. They have to prove who the people were fighting. They have to prove evidence of that fight. Do they have video footage outside of the ones that we have here shown in America? Do they have that? And that's where it gets muddy, because they don't have those kind of resources to do that kind of, let's say, thorough enough research to go up against somebody's defense attorney from America. Then there was this other question of their penal code Article 315 that talks about premeditation. If premeditation is presumed when the perpetrator intentionally commits a homicide after reflecting on a crime. So they consider premeditation even if it was committed and afterwards you reflected on what your reflection was part of premeditation. When we was eating dinner last night, she kind of said something to me and it kind of really made me mad. Premeditation. So you were mad the night before, which could be probable cause for you to want to fight this girl. All of those things are charges. And so Twitter started breaking this apart like, okay, so if we got to get Mexico to find charges in their investigation, well, here we go, fighting. Well, here we go, it's premeditation. But see, all of that will need the help of the FBI, because the FBI will be able to pull the phone records. The FBI will be able to pull travel logs, all of that good information, financial records that the Mexico counterparts won't be able to do. But the FBI can only provide information legally by law if Mexico requests it. Can you imagine if FBI was just passing information of an American citizen over to Mexico that they believe committed a crime? That there's no case. A judge would throw that away. You're already accusing this person and saying they're guilty already. That's like wiretapping before a judge issues a warrant for wiretapping. So this is very complex. This relies on Mexico to get in the seat and do their due diligence. But they said they got the state attorney general coming to the scene. So now that we know all the penal code, we got to talk about this one little area. It's a gray area. And it's not on Mexico's part, it's our part. So once they find the charges, once Mexico decides that, okay, we have all the evidence, we're going to go to a court, the judge, and the jury, they indict this person. These are the citizens. Then they have to put a formal request over to America. Hey, we need this person because of these charges. America has to sit and review it. Their review period is about 6 months, because what they want to do is make sure your laws that you're charging us for are equitable to what we would charge our own citizens for before you extradite them. They want to make sure that there's no appeal coming along the road. So once that request comes, then there's this executive process that starts. Well, let's talk about that executive process. It is so hard to extradite a U.S. national to another country to face a crime. And let's talk about it. So there's this extradition of the U.S. citizen. Most countries, and it's even written in some of their extradition treaties, says that most countries don't require the U.S. to extradite their citizens to a foreign country. Now, the U.S. may decide to do so if they want to, but most countries make it that the U.S. is not obligated to extradite their citizens to a foreign country. And that if the Secretary of State wants to, then they can do it at their jurisdiction. but it has to be requested by the other country before anything is done. And all the requirements of the treaty must be met. Now, I don't know if y'all understand a lot of that's a lot of there's a lot of jargon around that. But basically what that's saying is that before you tell us that you want us to extradite a United States citizen, everything in that fucking treaty needs to be met. Now, remember I told you about the governor who came to United States, Mexican citizen, and then we didn't swap him. He didn't get extradited until we got our 6 Mexican nationals. That's what you're looking at here. When it says meet other conditions of the treaty, that means that if we're asking you to fulfill one part of our treaty as well, then that means that you need to do that for us as well. And you get into politics. And I'm not saying this is going to happen to Shanquella, but I'm saying it might. So here's my next example, and this is current. So in September 18th of 2022, Mexico has asked the United States to extradite a suspect who was accused of murdering a journalist in Mexico territory. Now let's talk about the suspect. The suspect was a part of some other folks in Mexico. They killed this journalist back in, I think it was in August. Everybody else was held up in court of law in Mexico. They're facing their time. But this one person came back to the United States, got U.S. citizenship. And so right now, Mexico is saying, you need to send him back to us. We want to hold him accountable. That was a famed journalist here. We know y'all don't care about our journalists, but we care about them. Y'all see where I'm going? Y'all see where I'm going with the story? We know y'all don't care about our journalists, but we care about them. So why don't you extradite that man so that we can hold him accountable? Y'all see where I'm going? That was as of September 2022. Now, the United States State Department has came out to say that, yeah, we understand. Yeah, we agree. However, we have this person under our custody right now, pending our own investigation. And after our investigation, then we will begin looking at the extradition process. That was in September. We're in November. I didn't see anything about having this person extradited yet. You see where I'm going? I'm just only doing this to inform you all, to give you some perspective of how things like this works. It's twofold. The judicial is getting Mexico to do it, but that executive getting the United States is also another onion to peel back. So they have this, this journalist. The journalist is not, he's Javier Valdez, dead. And the person has been released. Now, mind you, the United States was holding the person, the suspect, in American prison. They released them. They released them in the United States. This person do you see, was released from an American prison. We released them. We said, we understand that. And now do you understand why Mexico is like? So I'm going to stop right here before I go on, continue digging. But I wanted to just drop that kind of background information off on you so you understand, even in Shanquella's story, we have these American citizens who we know for a fact committed a crime in Mexico. We have them now back in America. And now Mexico has the burden of proving that there was something that went on. They have to then ask the FBI themselves, hey, we need answers to these specific questions. Can you help us? The FBI opens its investigation, provides that information. Mexico has to say, okay, we're going to go to a court. That doesn't take, that's not going to happen before the year is out. They got to go to a court. The court has to, go through this trial. I was looking at trials. You had trials going on for 2 to 3 years. Once they get that indictment and it's sealed, they have to then go back to America and say, okay, we have it here. We want you to extradite these individuals. Well, 3 years later, don't you know these folks will have built enough evidence case to protect them, extradition, defense attorneys, all those kinds of things. And so then you have our legal department carrying out our liberties. They're going to have to do their investigation. They're going to have to make sure everything you want us to extradite for is well within their liberty, their legal rights. You're not infringing upon any of their rights. And so that's where we'll end up landing. And let's say they do decide to extradite them. That's a whole nother issue. Then the U.S. Marshals has to be involved. So we're not looking at an overnight process here, people. I just wanted to make sure that's clear. We do need justice, but we need the right justice. We need the FBI to absolutely open an investigation, but we need Mexico. We need to, we'll get to what Mexico community is saying themselves, but we need Mexico to also do their justice. We need you to put it in your news stories. You know, we're coming to your tourist areas. We need you to talk about it in those tourist areas, those spots. Don't shun this shit, sweep it under the rug. We need all of that so that you all feel the burden of, okay, we need to do this the right way. We need to go ahead after these folks. Hell, people have been emailing you all photos. They've been emailing y'all all their information. I don't know what else they need. Shout out to the chat. I know I'm so far behind on the chat, but I just wanted to share that. So I'm just gonna run through it. I'm gonna run through it, y'all. Oh, hey y'all. Hey y'all. Yep, the family can file civil charges here stateside, but we want the Mexican government to do their due diligence. Yes, that's right, Purple Peach. Come through. Purple Peach. Zaire, thank you. Thank you. Thank you all. Okay. If you bored, now's the time for you to go. Hear your coffee, go use the toilet. Thank you. Oh my God. I didn't even know. Okay, thank you. Oh, y'all was here for it. All right. They probably will do the same with Griner. And that's the thing. We talked about it with Griner. We talked about the same thing with Griner. I remember I told you all, I said, even if they do a swap, Russia wants Brittany to go through the legal process. I said they probably want her to do at least 2 years of her sentence before they even consider a swap. So while we were all saying an instant swap, I kind of looked at the bigger picture and said, well, let me look at the other cases. Oh. And then to know that the United States has a swap priority list with every country. Brittany Griner is not at the top of the list. She's not. But the pressure we put on puts her at the top of the list. But she's not. She was not at the top of the list. Paul Whelan and a whole bunch of other people are at the top of the list. But we did our due diligence to try to keep her name out there. The videos show the two girls fighting her. See, and again, it's like, what else do we need to do? What else do we need to do? Thank you, Purple Peach. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome to the crew family, Purple Peach. Thank you. Shout out to Purple Peach. Thank you, babe. I appreciate it. FBI assists Mexico all the time with drugs. And we're going to talk about that. Oh, we're going to talk about that. They even have an office in Mexico. We're going to talk about that. Now, when it comes to drug cartels, the problem there is that if someone in Mexico is a part of a drug cartel, shoots up a community and flees to the United States, we will definitely extradite their ass back to Mexico. Literally the next fucking day. Like we will do that. If a Mexican official, national part of a drug cartel commits a crime in the United States, we will send them, we will hold them up in court, file charges on them, put them in prison, and then we will extradite them back automatically to their next country. So yeah, we have a tight working relationship, but when it comes to specific crimes and one-on-one cases, it's always this burden of, because one thing is that Mexico doesn't like the fact that we have a death penalty. So they don't like that when we hold someone of a hostage, they can be held for a death penalty potentially. So they don't want to extradite unless we say that we will not include the death penalty or other severe charges. They will do that. There's a guy, I think that's the part of it in Florida. There's one guy right now I was reading about that he needs to be extradited, but won't extradite him because the United States won't guarantee that the death penalty won't be held. So there's a lot of case by cases, but when it comes to the drug cartels, we definitely are on the same page. And there's times where Mexico doesn't even want to, just keep them in your prison. That's fine. They rely on us. They always say that our justice system is a lot superior. Thank y'all for being in here. I'm trying to run through the comments. Like I said, the family has to say on the Fed's neck about this. Absolutely. Chocolate Vixen, I always appreciate your thoroughness in researching your material in order to present credible information. Yes. I'll be so, why I'm motivated, encourage other people to be like, the coin keep them here. What keeps me happy and motivated is when after I do a live and then I go listen into other information and I see like us in the chat and stuff. I don't know, whatever I said, but the meat and potatoes be in there. I be knowing the meat and potatoes be in there, and it feels good because I'm helping Shanquella. I don't think about nothing else. It feels good, like, okay, we got our little dig in. We're gonna definitely break some of this shit down. And so many people on Twitter sent me messages, shared and liked. I shout the fuck out to Twitter because as much as y'all was helping me out, I was definitely trying to raise the flag on Twitter as well. So shout out to Twitter. And I think it's important for us to understand this legal jargon, not just for this case, but for moving forward. Everything is political when it comes to international crimes. It's all political. The outcome of her case will most likely be contingent on other bureaucratic bullshit. Coco has probably already been mentioned, but her funeral is tomorrow. Yes, her funeral is tomorrow. Um, it's I wrote it down. It's November 19th, Saturday, November 19th at 12 p.m. At the Macedonia Baptist Church. If you are in the area, Russia wants us to war with the U.S. That was scary, Bubbles. I was detained in Jamaica, scared the out of me. Yes, King, no fluff. All right, let's get back into breaking this down. All right, so after we realized that it's difficult to extradite a U.S. citizen, here's an example. This is a current right now fucking example. This man has murdered people in Mexico. He's walking around America right now because we've decided that we need to investigate more before we extradite him. Although he served his time in prison, that wasn't enough for us to say, okay, let's extradite this asshole. So know that information. Now let's talk about what the FBI can do when it comes to international violent crimes. Yes, the FBI has the authority to investigate specific violent crimes committed against Americans and American interests overseas. Yes, yes, yes. I want you all to be very clear on that. Yes, the FBI can launch an investigation. Yes, the FBI can launch an investigation. However, no, the FBI cannot make an arrest. No, the FBI can't even detain a person or question them. Only thing you have to think about it. The only thing the FBI can do right now is take the complaint from the citizen, which will be her parents, open an investigation. They have to gather enough evidence to then go to the local jurisdiction. If it was on our soil, they would go to that local jurisdiction's attorney general. But because this is in Mexico, they have to go straight to the attorney general of the country. And they there have to decide, okay, you have enough here, there's enough here, okay, there's enough here, to then move forward with cooperating with Mexican authorities to then accept their request to then make the arrest. So I wanted, and I pulled this directly from their website, you all. I don't want to, I didn't, because I saw a lot of people saying FBI needs to make an arrest, FBI needs to go and get them, the FBI needs to question them. Let me tell you why the FBI can't do that. The minute the FBI questions them without having a proper charge or a proper notice, this becomes a throwaway case. Though all those people go away because your attorney will tell them they didn't follow the right process. We can't even get to evidence. We got to get to legal proceedings. They didn't even do the legal proceedings right. The judge has nothing other than to dismiss this case. So they have to follow proper protocol. That's why you notice everything they come out here and saying, yeah, we're opening an investigation. Yeah, we've heard some things. We're going to launch an investigation. Yeah, we're going to work with the Mexican officials to launch it. Yeah, an investigation. Yeah, an investigation. Because they can't make an arrest. They can't just arbitrarily go and arrest off on a video. They need a lot more than that. Typically, when the FBI makes arrests, they've already got a court-issued warrant. They already went through all of this stuff. Then people said, why can't they wiretap? Why can't they? They can't wiretap because they have to investigate first. That's where we are here. We're in the investigative phase of this. So again, straight from their website, International Violent Crimes, it tells you that they can investigate, they can do all those things. However, at the bottom, they have to work collaboratively with their international law enforcement partners, which is a network of legal offices around the world and their federal law enforcement partners. So it's not just them. Again, remember that judicial process in Mexico and that executive process in America. So even if they do, they still got to follow that executive process or they're going to have a mute case. It's going to dismiss. I tell you now, I would dismiss my case. Did y'all do that? Dismiss. And I'm not trying to say this to protect these people, but I'm just saying this so we know why things are moving slowly and very fragile and very much so like, okay, all right. do we have this? Because any wrong step can get this shit thrown the fuck out. It really can. So this first case came up. It says that they ain't beating the feds. The feds gonna seize the phone records, social media, and cloud accounts. The first one to rat wins. They might as well go on ahead and smoke crack, go scuba, basically get the bucket list items out the way because life is over. Now there's a point here. The FBI pressure from the FBI on these individuals would cause them to start talking on each other. And we see that. We see videos coming out, and I guarantee you within the next couple of days, it's gonna be another video coming out. We see people calling a family. We see Nazir out here talking. That's all because the FBI. When the people say the feds are watching, the feds are watching. But the feds can't tap. The feds can't tap you and say, come question until they have then fulfilled their investigation. And a part of their investigating of this crime would be leaning on the Mexican authorities to provide, okay, so what are the crimes? What are we doing? The video and the complaint from the family and the father is going to refer them to Mexican soil. Yeah, this happened in Mexico. Okay. They would have to get Mexican authorities to tell them, yeah, this happened here. Then they would then say, okay, we need to then subpoena phone records. We need to do all this other stuff. Given what happened there, here's what we need to do here. They can't arbitrarily just go out and say, okay, those are suspects. Let's go get their phone records. Let's go do. No, it don't work like that. It has to go judicial executive first. That's why I say even if the FBI launches their investigation, it's great because they put pressure on them. But if it comes out that they were investigating these folks before Mexico even issued a charge or even asked them for their help, do you know how quick shit gets dismissed? Because you're holding me guilty before anybody even brought charges forth. It has to go like that. That's the steps. And so, but like this person said, feds can do all these great things and put pressure on you, but the feds can only do so fucking much, you know. Even think about Young Thug and Rico. They had to build a whole fucking case up against Young Thug before they can even indict this man. So that's sort of what we're looking at here, and it's so unfortunate. Now, here's the other thing: what authority do FBI special agents have to make arrests in the United States, its territories, or on foreign soil? Now, we already know they can make arrests in America. Now, however, if you scroll to the bottom of this, it says on foreign soil, FBI special agents generally do not have authority to make arrests, except in certain cases where, with the consent of the host country, Congress has granted the FBI extraterritorial jurisdiction. Now, we know this happened in Mexico, and we know the folks came back to America. But even because the situation happened in Mexico, that doesn't mean that FBI can, and they came to America, that doesn't mean that the FBI can go in and arrest them for something that happened in Mexico. It doesn't happen in a silo. It has to be a package. It happened in Mexico. Charges came. Criminal charges came. FBI received those, and then they issued an arrest warrant. There has to be a probable cause before there's an arrest. Like there has to be motive. It has to go down those chains. And that's where we are with this. And I'm bringing this to the forefront because a lot of people on Twitter were talking about this, and we were talking about this. Mexican police will, here we go. Now here's what I've been saying. Mexican police will have to prove the death came from a fight. Who is going back to Mexico to talk to the police? Nobody. American government can't do nothing about it because it didn't happen here. And I'm not saying that they can't help. They can assist. But because Americans in their own country are afforded so many rights, liberties, and freedoms, they can't just arbitrarily go arrest these folks. Or they would have done it. They would have already arrested that girl, given the tape and evidence. Y'all don't think they saw this stuff? Yeah, they did. But it's not their burden to prove. It's Mexico. Because if America starts getting into the habit of arresting American citizens on video footage of something they did in another country, do you know the precedent that sets? Do you know the precedent that sets? And do you know how many other people will come lodge complaints? My friend punched me in the mouth when I was in another country. Now we're back here. Can you get him? Do you get it? I just want us to walk through that. And then I pray that, somebody else, we all do. I pray that they are deported back to Mexico and tried and convicted. I pray they spend the rest of their worthless lives in a Mexican prison. Well, we are far from deportation at this point. Far from it. Unless this becomes a speedy, very, very fast, like Mexico said, yep. U.S. said, President Biden and the Attorney General are already aware of this situation. They say, "Yep," and then next week, but do you think that's going to happen? No, I don't. Not, just me having knowing the little stuff that I do know. I don't. Now, here is an actual Mexican citizen who lives in Mexico. He was on Twitter replying to everybody's comments about Mexico and their rules and their laws and stuff. And I just grabbed two of his tweets because it was telling about their own crime system. So in this first one, it says, "I totally understand that you're trying to read into Mexican law," which is what I was doing. I told you about the penal code and what Mexican can do. You'll get 12 years. If you fight someone and they die from it, you'll face up to 12 years. It's premeditation. Even if we arrest you for homicide, we can tack on premeditation if throughout the investigation we find out that you planned this a day up before, or if there was some probable cause. So we found all of that out, and adding premeditation to a murder adds more weight to the sentence. But here's what they were saying. "But coming from a Mexican American, I can tell you that those laws are rarely followed. I have family members who have died under suspicious circumstances and they never received an autopsy. Just take for a funeral," which is why those folks were so easy to flee, because in their mind, I have a black girl here. And now we're speaking from Mexican officials. I have a black girl that all her friends are saying is alcohol poisoning. They're acting like it's okay. They're about to go. That's what it is. We already don't have the resources. We're not going to investigate this further. It doesn't seem like a racist or a woman, being trafficked. We don't have to do anything further. So that's it. Because, in our country, we see people getting shot and killed every day. We see kids getting raped and shot and killed, all kind of stuff. So in the tourist area, this happened. We're not gonna bring nothing to it. They say this is what it is. We're gonna keep it quiet. We're gonna move. Now you get why that first initial contact was done that way. So then when pressure is applied, now it becomes, well, that was just the first part of the investigation. Now we're gonna open up the main part of the investigation where we include forensics and all this other stuff. Well, after the bodies come back to America, okay, all right. So as this person is explaining their laws, we can kind of see, like I said in my other video, that them having to come back on this will mean that they will have to follow their real procedures, which means that they will have to admit that they weren't following the protocol in the first fucking place. And that in itself is a hard pillow to swallow, especially in a touristy area of Mexico, like Cabo. And everybody's been saying Cabo. I don't know where they get Cabo, like cable, but it's Cabo. It's so cute. And so they also go on to say, where is it? Oh, here it goes. Sorry. Oh, forgive me, y'all. I think this is what this person said in their community. "I think this will require the community's pressure on Mexican authorities calling them out." And this is where I wanted to land. This is where I wanted to land today's show. That's why I titled this. So the FBI is involved. What's next? Well, what's next is, okay, we put pressure on the FBI. You see, they got their ass involved. The parents called. They got them involved. We're sending evidence. Shit, we making videos. We putting the evidence out there. But now it's on the pressure for FBI. When you traveling out there and you going in the coming months, making sure that if you got a flyer, you putting that shit up, saying her. So what are they doing about Shanquella Robinson? Because that's where the pressure needs to go. It affects their dollars. This is going to be an economy game. This is going to be where we need to make our black dollars matter. You know what I'm saying? It really is. It's going to become that thing where it's like, okay, what are you doing here? And now we also understand that there's a political thing going on. Know that Mexico wants us to release the American citizen to help them extradite that American citizen who killed the journalist in Mexico. We've yet to do so, and that was back in September. So while we're asking them to begin this process so that they can put forth legal proceedings to extradite American citizens, we too got to take into account the political landscape. They want something from us too. So in the future, don't be shocked if you see that an extradition does come forward with a swap, with us either extraditing someone for an American citizen. Don't be too shocked about it. Because I absolutely see that coming in the future. But like this person said, it's going to require us putting pressure on Mexican authorities. Absolutely. You can send emails to their government employees. I have saw it on Twitter, I will retweet all of their contact information. You can phone, you can do all that great stuff. But it's going to take our Mexican counterparts, are the ones who stand up with us. We need y'all to be a vocal voice there for us. We need, we definitely need us to put pressure on everyone there, all the embassies, absolutely, because it's not gonna, it's going to take a longer amount of time for Mexico to build a burden of proof. Trust me, this is in Cabo. This is one of their heavy money makers. They don't want no attention brought that they didn't do this the right way. That people can come to Cabo and get away with murder because they're just going to look at it as alcohol poisoning. They don't want that. So we got to do our part. We really, really got to do our part. Now I want to end on this. Okay, this is what Khalil, Elise, Winter, what's her name, Dejanay, Nazir. If they are to be extradited, if we get to the part where we pass executive, they will then have these: an extradition defense attorney. Now, these extradition defense attorneys, they get paid hell of a lot of money, a lot of money. And for the most part, they've been doing this for some years, so they know how to keep their client out of jail and on American soil for as long as possible. And so that's what they're going to seek out next, if they haven't done so, because that's the next step. Now, if you read here in the second paragraph, it tells you, before you flee the U.S. to seek shelter in another country, take advantage of your opportunity to speak to an experienced federal defense attorney. Your lawyers will be able to advise you of your options, evaluate your case, identify available defenses, and represent you in court to make sure you get the fair treatment you deserve. Your attorney can negotiate with federal and diplomatic officials to prevent your extradition to a foreign country where you may not get a fair trial. And it brings us back to, why don't Americans go to other countries for extradition? Because of our legal system. So I wanted to bring you all the way around back to why it's going to be an uphill battle for us during fight our justice for Shanquella Robinson. But we got to do it. But if we understand that they're going to go and get they're going to get defense attorneys, but it's going to cost. Who's funding them? How are they getting paid? Does that mean that we need to let their employers know? Do that mean that we need to go and dox their parents and their families so that nobody can put their homes up for sale? Oh, am I going there? I'm going there. Black Twitter. I'm going there because we don't want them to have the funding to get a defense attorney. Now, they're afforded the right to have one. Yes, they are. But given that, I already explained to you all, given the history of American extradition, they don't extradite American citizens. That's not something that they do willingly. People always love to, no, we'll let you handle it in the United States. No, because they know we have attorneys that will take that process from now till the end of fucking time. And you see it clear as day. Now, it's funny. These are black folks, right? So we always say, black people, they're going to get them. They're going to crush them. No, it ain't that easy either. Nope. Especially when it's black on black crime. As much as we care about it, they ain't got the same care for it. So these people can get away for a long time, but they won't get away with it forever. And we can damn sure make their lives miserable while they're living. But you ain't got no job. Aren't you, Dejanay? Well, we can make it miserable as hell. But right now, the legal process is just fucking beginning. It's just beginning. It's just started. We are just at the beginning of it. Mexico officials are just now deeming this a homicide. Now we got to investigate it. Well, we know that's going to take at least at a minimum 30 days. There goes, Christmas. And then for them to even, let's say they find something, it's implausible charges. We know that a fight is 12 years. Well, that's not enough. We know adding premeditation adds up to 15 to 30 years. That surely isn't enough. So once they get that and they tell that to the United States, then we have to do our process, which includes those defense lawyers. That's why they call it the executive process. There's appeals after appeals, which could take up to 2 years. So this isn't a just overnight thing. But what we do know for certain is that these individuals did do the crime. They must pay the time. And I can absolutely see an oxygen episode, a news story episode. They need to be exposed. That's the biggest thing we can do is put their faces out here, expose them every fucking step of the way. Nazir, stop giving fucking interviews, nigga. That ain't gonna stop you. Knowing that your timetable is skeptical, nigga. Can't stand the old crusty ass dude trying to just get in on a get in. So as I wrap up, I just wanted to leave you all with this information that when we're talking about the FBI involved, it's a wonderful thing to have the FBI involved. But just know that that's just not the only part. There's other players in this. There's other agencies and departments, and then there's politics. And we got to get through the politics of it all. But for that family, we definitely need to keep saying her name. Shout out to the Charlotte beat. Thank you for keeping us all abreast. I love your investigative files. I followed you on, I think it was Twitter or Instagram, and you was going live and you was talking about, so keep doing your work, man. You got people like us inspired. I'm very inspired by what you were doing. And you following this is in your area, in your community. Keep your foot on their neck. In that FBI Charlotte office, what y'all need to make them do is ask them when will they be holding a press conference. See, the press conference really is what put it out here. Every time we get a press conference in the nation, remember Gabby Petito? Y'all remember Gabby Petito? We got a press conference. Then everybody, oh yeah, I remember seeing them at the gas station. And yeah, he looked like he was mean to her. Oh yeah, I remember. Then we get all that shit. Well, we need a press conference. We can't keep just doing this shit by ourselves and having them on the news stuff. No, we need y'all to give us a press conference. Tell us high level what's going on, what y'all know, when y'all know it. Get that shit out here. Get their faces out here. What are y'all talking about? That way, it's now formalized. Put some pressure on these hoes. Make them start talking and telling on each other. But until then, we're stuck in this mode of waiting on Mexico to do their due diligence. And I tell you, it don't. One second. Swallow. I had to cough. I was talking too long without taking a break. Air started going down the wrong pipe. That's all I wanted to share with you all today. Say her name, Shanquella Robinson. We're going to definitely keep you alive in our thoughts and prayers with your family, your real friends, not your fake friends, not these people who assume to be your friends. I'm going to stay tuned to the story. As more details come out, be tuned. Please follow me on Twitter at King Roman News. Everything I find, I either retweet or I like it. And you can follow my like thread or you can follow me on there. Anything I find new or anything else like that, I'm definitely going to speak about it and talk about it. But just knowing the framework of the case that we're dealing with here, it allows us to know how best we should proceed. Yeah, we can put pressure on FBI, but remember, they can only do so much. And to them, it looks like a bunch of people telling them and don't know the process. So if you want to talk to the FBI, start asking questions like, how far are y'all? How far are we in the extradition process? Even though we know that Mexico didn't even charge, let them know that, nigga, we know that y'all got some work to do. How far are you all in your investigation side of this? Have you spoken to the Mexican authorities? What have they told you? Have they requested information from you all? Will you all begin to, start taking firsthand a testimony? Are you going to extradite them to Mexico to answer questions, or will you be conducting the questions here on American soil? Like these, now we're asking questions that leads them to believe that, oh, we need to start doing more of our job. Just saying getting them involved don't do nothing because they're gonna say, yeah, we're launching, we're involved. Yeah, we're launching it, we're involved. Oh no, fuck that. Come out here with a press conference. What are you doing? The fuck are you doing? We're paying you tax dollars. Keep us informed. We want to know. I ain't gonna say that. Some of us wanted to know about Gabby Petito. Y'all came out here and talked about that. Not even a fucking day later. Y'all was on here telling. But this November, this has been going on weeks now. We need a press conference. We need a press conference. And unfortunately, there's no one jurisdiction that can handle this because it was on Mexican soil. We need a press conference. That's what we need. Shout out to the crew. I'm about to run through these comments run through these comments. Thank you all for being here. Joe, what up, Joe? What up, Joe? Good morning. Hey, Mrs. G. Good morning, Mrs. G. Lady Steph. Hey, Lady Steph. M. Renee. Shanquella's mother is on Good Morning America now. Oh, she is. Yeah. Oh, I knew it. I said it. I said it. Didn't I tell y'all? I said I wanted to wait until her Good Morning America interview. Mm. Thank you all for being here with me this morning. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Damn. I'm still gonna talk about it because I think it's critical to hear her side and what she has to add to this. Damn it. Oh, thank you. Thank you for that. All right. Yeah, yeah. What else? All political. Hey, Moose Knuckle Wilson. Y'all so funny. All right. All right. All right. Face, yeah, yeah. Can you remember? Are you aware another video came out with Winter beating her? Also, yes. I just don't know where the video is at. But yes, the father verified that as well. I just saw the video where she was walking around looking for her friends. Oh no. So now y'all know it's about to get. Good morning, Miss T Velocity. Remember, know that I know of Coco. I think it was DJ's video. Thank you, darling Tiana, for the super sticker. Hey, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, boo. I appreciate it. Hey, Voodoo. What up? What up? What's up, y'all? What's up? Playing devil's advocate here. It is a big tourist area. Maybe they will act fast because they don't want to lose money from the U.S. tourism. Well, at this point, because we're talking about it heavily too, they dropped the ball. That's pretty much what's good. That's what it is. They dropped the ball. Where other videos you just saw? Yeah, let me know where those videos at too. Street justice is definitely going to keep them in line. They aren't going to freely walk around. Period. The friends are about to start turning on one another because of the increased pressure. Yes, I agree. Glad it came on. It was on America. Damn. I'm about to watch that show. I don't want to shout out other content creator channels on King Rumble. Let's see. Oh yeah, you can absolutely tell me where you saw the video at. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Esther. Thank you. That's what it's all about. Boils down to politics and leverage. Miss T Velocity, we here. We see right through the bull. Good morning, pretty chocolate girl. Good morning. Good morning. Yes, Eartha, the mother and sister one. Good morning. A few minutes ago discussing Shanquella's case. Can you tell me if they said anything that the FBI is gonna do or anything FBI related? Oh, I gotta. Damn it! Y'all give me a second. I gotta pull this up. Fuck it. I'm too into the story. I want to know what they said. Mm, 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 mm. Okay. The U.S. State Department confirmed in an email. Department provides everything I just said to you all. It's so beautiful that I can read these statements and y'all should be able to really understand. So the U.S. Department confirmed in an email to ABC News that the death of an American citizen occurred in Mexico and that when a U.S. citizen dies abroad, the department provides all appropriate consular assistance to the family and refers to Mexican authorities on anything regarding the investigation. Meanwhile, the state attorney general offices of Baja California Sur said its investigation into Robinson's death is ongoing, which is an investigation. So, if you get a chance, check out that interview. I'm gonna go definitely check out that interview. This case is mind-boggling because I'm still wondering if it was a setup from the gate. And the FBI will be able to give us that information once they do their investigation. Came together on this one. Oh, baby, baby. If politicians get involved, it will speed the process up. And they're so wrapped up in their own. We need VP Harris to speak out and say something to open the DOG. Absolutely, I agree. Thank you, Miss Margot. Thank you all. True meaning. Grand Rising. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. She wasn't on long, but she was on this morning with her daughter. Okay. All right then. I just didn't want to miss anything. I wanted to make sure we added everything. Thank you, Ox City 805 Queen. Another great informative live. Thank you. Thank you, Karen. Thank you. Did you hear the interview with the father? Oh, yeah, I played a little bit of it earlier. And I found the part where he said he saw the body first initially, immediately with scars. Because if you can see that, what the medical examiner in Mexico and Nazir and everybody, what didn't they see? Or wasn't or were they not looking for it? That's the question. FBI moves in silence, so we won't hear much. Nope. She pretty much told what we already know. Okay, all right. The video is on Sean. Oh yeah, Sean Davy Wade show. Okay. It's of the footage of her walking around. Oh, we gotta check that out. I'm gonna share it on my community wall. I like Sean Davy Wade. Thank you all. Thank you. I'm glad I was able to just break that down. I was telling myself this morning because I thought about what I wanted to talk about related to Shanquella, and I was telling myself yesterday, I was like, I have to talk about the legal side, but how do you break it down, or how do you share it in a way that's fruitful and that and comprehensible, like you can comprehend and understand. And so I hope y'all understand that. And my reason for this is we got to know what we're working with here and where we got to pull the angles and the strings, and it really is two sides. Mexico, but yeah, we need FBI to do pressure, but we need Mexico to do something as well. And all we can do is continue to say her name, talk her up, put pressure on all of these folks, both Mexico, and keep the FBI on their fucking toes and have them do a press conference. Um, but as more information come out, we'll stay tuned. I will be live on Sunday morning, but hopefully next week we come back with our regular hot topics, local news, hodgepodge. But when I get involved in stuff like this, I really, really be wanting to go all in. So forgive me for that. And shout out to the replay crew. Thank you. I appreciate it. You made it this far in the video. Please make sure you hit that like button. And shout out to the new subscribers. I definitely see that we have some new subscribers and new members of the family, and I want to welcome you, and I want to let you know that this is a place where we talk about any and every fucking thing. Okay, everything. I may be talking about celebrity, I might talk about local news, I might talk about products, anything, but it's pertaining to Black culture, it's pertaining to our life. No, I'm not a racist. I love all people, but I always want to make sure that what I know, y'all know. We all know together. We all are all informed. That's the basis of my whole channel. Is that if I know it, y'all know it. You can better believe we all gonna be walking away on the same page. So I advise you to just stick with me. You may not find one video comfortable, or you might not like one video, but trust me, it's gonna be a topic in there that you're gonna find that you like. And if you ever want me to talk about something, you can always comment in the video. Hey, Roman, can you talk about this? I'm always open. Feel free to put your comments in the chat. I always tell people I'm not Democrat leaning or Republican leaning. I'm just me. So if you are a Democrat or Republican, you're welcome here. Black or white, you're welcome here. And I thank y'all for helping me build this channel out. I really, really do. And I want y'all to have a great weekend. This is this is the weekend before Thanksgiving. I want you all to have a great weekend. Say her name, keep her praise, say a prayer or two for her and her family. And try to have, a joy weekend. Enjoy yourself, be around your friends and family. And let me say this too, to who you are. I haven't seen you around lately, and I'm not sure if that's because of what happened a couple of weeks ago or last Sunday or whatever, but your presence is missed. Please pop back through. Definitely miss you. All right, y'all, I got to get out of here. I got to get to work and walk my baby, but I'll be back on Sunday, and it's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to be around. And I thank you all. Thank you so, so much. And until next time, crew and crew family. Until next time, deuces. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you for being here this morning. Thank you for being here this morning.
Let's go. Oh, let's start this show. King Roman News gonna come right through, gonna give you that news just like you know he can do. Hot topics in your face, baby. King Roman knows his place, baby. King Roman News.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning.
6:30 a.m. Eastern time, baby. He's gonna come right on time with the news just for you. Celebrity news, politics, and local news just for you. King Roman news.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Monday, Wednesday,
Let's go, let's go. Hey, let's start this show. King Roman news, coming just for you. King Roman news, coming just for you. 6:30 a.m. Eastern time, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. King Roman news, King Roman news. Let's go, let's go. Let's start this show.